If you do the bridge exercise, there's a 90% chance you're doing it wrong. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the exercise correctly and why it's so important. If you don't know who I am, my name is Harlow. I'm the Over-Fifties specialist physio here at HT Physio in Farnham. And today we're going to be talking about the bridge exercise and more importantly, how so many people get it wrong. Now the bridge is a really common exercise that we see in yoga and Pilates, and it can also be used as a strength training exercise. I use it a lot with my clients for rehab, for things like hip problems and knee problems, but there's a lot of ways people can get it wrong. And if you get it wrong, it can cause back pain, it can cause cramping in the hamstrings, and it can cause the wrong areas to be strengthened without any benefit in the right areas. So let's have a look at the bridge exercise. I'm going to show you the common mistakes people make and then how to do it correctly. So here is the bridge exercise that we're going to be talking about today. Simple as that. Yet even with such a simple movement, so many people get it wrong. And if you're getting the bridge wrong, there are a couple of signs that it's not quite right. The first sign is you keep getting cramp in your hamstrings, and I know this is an issue for a great number of people. And then the second sign that you're getting the bridge wrong is you're starting to get pain in your lower back. Now it might not be during the exercise you get the pain, it might be directly afterwards. So I find many people with back pain, they've been told the bridge is a great exercise for them, and it is, but when they give it a go, it makes their back pain worse. So rather than just stopping the bridge, there are ways we can modify it to stop these two things from happening. So I'm going to show you how to do the bridge correctly. If we're doing it correctly, we end up with a stronger core and we end up with stronger glutes as well as strength in the legs as well. So it's such a good exercise. It's important for everyone to do it right. So there are 5 steps to getting the bridge exercise right, and I'm going to show you what they are today. The first thing we need to get correct is how bent the knees are. So when I'm doing the bridge, if I have my knees out like this and then I do it, what I can feel is my hamstrings are the primary mover because they're hooking through my heels to pull me up like this. And if I was to keep doing it at that level, I could actually feel my hamstrings wanting to cramp up. So what I recommend people do with the bridge is they bend their knees as far as they can and bring their heels towards their bottom as closely as possible. Now what this does is a couple of things. First of all, it takes away a lot of the work of the hamstrings back here and puts it instead on the glutes. And I like to think of the bridge as primarily a glute strengthening exercise. So having more emphasis on the glutes tends to make it more effective, and you'll also feel it more in your thighs here as well. So both two areas that are good to be stronger for most people. So just by changing the angle of your knee bend from here to here, we can absolutely isolate the correct muscles and make them work. Now another tip to stop you from getting cramp in your hamstrings is you'll notice I am barefoot on my bed. Now I have done this exercise on this bed with socks, and I find even if my knees are bent to the right angle, because of how slippy the socks are on the bed, my hamstrings have to kick in again and I'm more likely to get cramp. So what we want is a nice bit of purchase between your feet and the surface you're doing it on. So I recommend doing the bridge barefoot or in trainers rather than doing it in socks. That's just a side tip to help you knock the hamstrings out a little bit. Now the second thing we're going to do as we're doing a bridge to make it work more effectively is switch on the core. And the core is the muscle group that wraps around your tummy. It does involve the abdominals, but you also have other parts of them which wrap around right into the lower back. And we want to switch this area on to A, protect the lower back, and B, build strength in the core. And we do this very, very simply. All we do is feel that natural space between your lower back and the bed. If you put your hand there, you can feel a gap. You should be able to slide your hand in quite easily. And all we want to do is close that space down. Now, when you do this, we call this a posterior pelvic tilt because your pelvis is just tucking underneath you like that. You'll feel your tummy muscles just switch on slightly. It might only be 10 or 20%, but we're priming the right areas for the movement. So what we're going to do after we put our feet in the right position is flatten down the lower back and keep the core switched on. The third thing we're going to do a bridge correctly is we're going to pay attention to which part of the feet we're going to push through. And I prefer people to push through their heels. So you can see right now on the video, I'm lifting my toes up off the bed, and it's going to allow me to put my force through my heels. Now you don't need to lift your toes, but it just helps to isolate the movement just to the heel. You can keep your foot flat, but you want to focus the tension and the force going down through the heels rather than the whole foot. If we just push through the toes, we're not getting very much glute activation. We're getting it all at the front of the legs, which might be what you want, but for most people, getting stronger glutes is the goal of the bridge exercise. So pushing through the heels is best. So we've got our knees bent, we've got our back flattened, we're pushing through the heels, and then the fourth thing with the bridge is we're just going to come to neutral. And this is incredibly important for avoiding lower back pain. Now, the mistake I see people make when they do the bridge is they overextend. So they come to here, and you can see now that my back, rather than being straight, is now curved. Now, especially if you have arthritis or spinal stenosis, going up into extension, even if it feels like you're getting a better contraction, is not going to be the right thing to do. It's going to put stress on the facet joints right at the base of the spine, and that is why the bridge causes a lot of back pain for people. So instead, the goal is to have a straight line from the knees to the shoulders. The body should be completely straight like this. It shouldn't be bowed. So we stop here rather than here. So it's a very subtle difference, but it's one that makes a massive difference to back pain. And that is the fourth stage. So we're just going to come to neutral, and then to complete the movement, and this is where we get the most benefit, we're just going to squeeze the buttocks together, and that's the fifth stage of the movement. So we squeeze the bum cheeks together as if you're trying to grab a pencil between your bottom cheeks, hold for a couple of seconds, and then slowly reverse the movement down, again using the heels as your point of contact with the bed. So I'll put it all together for you now. So we bend the knees up, then we're going to flatten the back into the bed, then we're going to push through the heels, just lift to neutral, and then squeeze the buttocks at the top, trying not to squeeze the hamstrings at the same time, and then slowly bringing ourselves back down. And that is how to do the bridge correctly. That's how you get the most bang for your buck and how you avoid pain in your lower back. Now, if that is quite simple, having your arms down like that to do the bridge, you can make the movement slightly harder by bringing your arms across your chest. So again, we'll just go through the steps, just coming to neutral and then squeeze at the top. So I've taken away a bit of a base of support and then coming back down. And even if that was too easy for you, there's another way we can make it harder. So again, we'd have our hands up like this. We sort of get the feet in the right position, flatten the back, push up to neutral like this, squeeze the glutes, and then try and straighten one leg without rotating the spine. And that's how we progress. Then we bring it back down, and then you would repeat on the other side. So that's how 90% of people get the bridge exercise wrong and what to do about it. I hope that video has been useful for you. If it has, please leave me a comment below because I love to read your thoughts. And if you want to get more from me, you can pick up a copy of my book. It's called Thriving Beyond 50, and you can find it on Amazon using the link below. It's got loads more exercises like the one we discussed today. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you on the next video.